Alright, so welcome to the Nuzlocke challenge. I'm gonna try to use the intro to explain the rules and how it works, since I wasn't really able to skip the cutscenes. I actually already made a video with starting this. I just decided to skip it all, delete the account, and just start from scratch, because even though the Redux mod from Need for Speed is very nice, the options of skipping the intro and skipping the cutscenes is just really a mess. It's not nice, so for some reason this cutscene is really skippable, so we just have to watch it, even though we all watched it 10,000 times since 2005. Doesn't get old, it's still cool, it's still okay. So I'm just going to use these minutes before the game officially starts to explain you why this Nuzlocke is a little bit different, a little bit tougher, a little bit harder, also a little bit more fun, you know. So for all you guys who are living under a rock who don't know what Nuzlocke challenge basically is, it's not something from Need for Speed. It basically comes from the Pokemon games, which I also used to play a lot back in my day. Basically, it means you catch a Pokemon, right? And once it faints, once it dies, so to say, it's defeated in a battle, you have to release it, right? And you only have a limited amount of Pokemon to catch, which makes the game obviously way, way harder, and probably developed because we're grown-ups now and we want to have a little bit more of a challenge to the game. Same with Need for Speed. I never understood why we can win a car racing against a Blacklist driver, right? Why they can never get ours. I mean, of course, when you're just 9 years old, you don't want to lose a car, would be not nice, but nowadays, let's be real, if we make a playthrough Need for Speed, which I just did since BMW Munich just made the real Most Wanted, I just did the nostalgia coming up and wanted to play the real game again. You realize you never lose. You lose a couple times, but I mean, it's no challenge there. So I wish someone would take the time to program this, that if you actually lost, at least against a Blacklist driver, you actually lose your drive, you're right. But this is a little bit harder. So the rules for this here are different. The rules here are, once I lose a race, I have to sell the car. Now you could say, okay, it's unfair because you actually get some money back. Normally what we would all do before we sell a car is we remove the body kits and the paint and everything, and we get a little bit of money back, right? So just see this money that we're getting back, because we only get half, is kind of the money that we would normally get. Like if you sell Golf, you put probably 30, 40, 50 grand in there, and you get 15 grand back. And if you would have sold some of the body kit parts and get money back for, you kind of would get some money too, which we don't do. We are not allowed to do this. So we have to sell the cars as, and we also, just as in Pokemon, we have to basically add a name to the Pokemon in order to build more of a relationship with it. We also have to tune the car with not just optics, but also with body parts, right? Meaning spoiler, body kit, wheels. So that's one thing we have to do. So we always invest in each car that we have. We always have to put at least some optic tunings in there, also spoiler, or some wheels, or something like that, I would. And that makes the game way harder, obviously, because we have to put money in the car, and once we lose a race, the car's gone. Now, I also made a little change in this playthrough when it comes to winning back the cars from the Blacklist drivers. Now, normally we get 2 markers from the Blacklist drivers, and yeah, basically have a 70% chance to win their car. There's some tricks that people say if you like, remember where the old one was, you kind of guaranteed to get it, but I think it doesn't always work like that. I mean, I tried this in the past and wrote it down, but sometimes it didn't work. I think it worked on the PlayStation, but on the PC game, I'm not sure, 100% sure, but anyways, I changed it to that you get 3 markers. Now you would say, oh wow, that's way too easy, that's not fair, because you're always guaranteed to get the car. That would be true if I would do that, but I'm not gonna choose from the 3 Blacklist driver markers. I'm gonna actually make it so that we always get the Junkman part, which doesn't change anything from our clause that we have to tune the car, because it's always about body kit or optic tunings. But I personally think if we're always making the Need for Speed playthrough, we gotta get some Junkman parts, because they're just too much fun to leave out of the game. which uses 2 markers to still get the Need for Speed Black Disturber cars, which basically still leaves it with the old same amount of percentage of getting a Blacklist Disturbers car, right? Just with the add-on bonus that we're always getting a Junkman part, which kind of adds as a little extra bonus, especially if we don't get a car, which will happen often enough, because to get to each Blacklist server, we're going to lose lots of cars, because this one here is going to be way tougher, way harder, actually 10 times tougher at least, than the Nuzlocke challenges that all have already been done for Most Wanted. Why is that? Because I changed some parameters. Now with the Redux mod, we have certain changes to the police, but before I go into this, first I want to explain the normal changes that I personally did. That might get they were actually, I think, in my opinion, one of the most important and hardest changes. Now, the first change is that normally, if you want to race against a Blacklist server, let's say Cass, for example. Hey, Cass maybe has 8 or 9 potential races, but to race against her, you only have to win 6 races, and she normally has, I don't know, 5 or 6 like bounty requirements, like drive through a speed trap or do those kind of things, and I don't know, destroy 20 police cars. Now, normally, out of 9 requirements, you have to do 6 for the races. Out of 5 bounty requirements, you have to reach 3, so to say. Now, we have to reach all of them, always. So if a Blacklist server has 10 requirements for races, we have to beat all 10 races. Now you would say, oh, that doesn't make it that much harder. Yes, it does. But if you do the normal Nuzlocke challenge, what you're going to do is you're going to do the easy races, meaning the sprint races, the knockout races, and so on and so on. These are easy. Now, the way the AI works, the other races, for example, being the I'm gonna have a quick break because of the cutscene, because this is not a skippable cutscene.
I like your style. Just make sure you watch your back with these guys, alright? See you around.
Man, I love the Mustang and the M3 together. It's just so cool together.
Putting it down out there, I really am, because I can't wait.
Two such iconic cars.
What? Didn't anybody tell you? You gotta put your ride on the line to run against a Blacklist racer, and that is why people aren't stupid enough to do it. I'll be waiting.
Okay, I think now we can skip again. Yep, we skip this one. So now, why is it so much harder if we have to do all the races? Because, like I said, in the normal Nuzlocke run, we would just choose the easiest races, meaning the sprint races, the knockout races, and so on. But the actual tough ones are the speed traps, for example, and of course the drag races. Everyone's going to skip out of the drag races on Nuzlocke challenge, but not we. And we all know damn well that doesn't matter how good you are, especially how it works in Need for Speed. There's going to be many times where you have to restart a drag race, and you're just going to ram into a car, and your engine is broken, and just have to restart the race. And in that case, your car's gone. And because of this, we need a little extra push, and that's why we're going to get the little Junkman part, at least on the side. I don't know if we want to get the Blacklist cars, but at least we have a little lifeline there, so to say, right? And obviously this is going to lead us to losing much more races. And also, it's also going to make it so that we're always going to lose a valuable car if we lose one. Because we always also have to do all the speed traps. Because it's the same for the bounty requirements. You also have to win all bounty requirements. And to win the speed traps, you always gotta have a fast car. If we cannot just, let's say for example, we lose our one fast car and we don't have much money left, and we're just gonna have some we're just gonna buy some cheapest 30 grand car, right? And we're gonna say, yeah, it's okay because the AI will just drive slow because we have a slow car, which is true. But it doesn't work with toll booth races because they are gonna be on time. It doesn't work with the speed trap events because you're gonna have to reach this certain amount of speed. That means with each Blacklist server we're gonna have to have a fast car, and we're gonna have to have a big investment that we've done that might be lost if we lose the car, especially because we also have to tune it in optics and the body parts and so on and so on. Meaning we definitely gonna have a very tough one. So we lost the M3. Now it's gonna get back up. There's way more cars here now on the Redux mod that we're gonna have to choose from. And I also upgraded the prices and also a little bit of the listing of when these cars are available and whatnot. Because with the Redux mod there's a big introduction of lots of fast new cars, all balanced, but some are faster than the old standard cars, meaning some of the cars have been rearranged to when they are available. Like, I mean, for example, the TT is now available with Sony. It normally would have been faster later in the game, but it makes sense because it is balanced from the way out. But you know, I already made a Nuzlocke challenge. Already lots of playtesting. This is very balanced now and very tough, and it makes sense the way it's structured. Now, when it comes to car selection, we also obviously gonna have some fun here. Me personally, I always like to have basically a tough and heavy car for cop chases, and one car that's a bit faster and a bit, I mean, from handling it's better for the normal races. I'm gonna make the dumb decision probably because I have a soft spot for muscle cars, even though the handling is so bad that we're gonna have a very tough time. But you know what? It's gonna make the game interesting. Especially because we have another 5 grand to utilize the car, because as you know, the rule is we also have to have the car always utilized in the sense of body parts and paint and whatnot. Now, you would say, hey, wait a second, why is it harder to have a car like this because it's faster, it's better? No. And for speed, especially in the beginning, it doesn't matter how fast your car is, because the AI will always adjust to the speed of your car. So even if you have a slowest car, it's going to make the game more easier, because it's always easier to drive something that's slower, but the AI will just slow down, so you're going to have a good time. But if you have a car like this that's fast, the AI will just drive just as fast as you. But with this one, you're going to lose all your speed in the turns, because this car, as we call it in German, Iron Pig, will just basically lose half the acceleration in a turn, and you will not be able to transport the power and the torque and the horsepower of the engine to the asphalt. You're going to lose everything because you have no grip, and then everyone will just get ahead of you, of the AI. So it's going to be very tough beating with this car, but it's going to be fun for the cop chases where you don't have to follow these rules. So that's why I like to have one of those cars. Always have a muscly car for the cop chases. There's lots of power, but it doesn't matter if you lose all the speed in a turn, because it's just a cop chase, but it has lots of weight usually and ramming power. And a lighter, more turny, grippy car for the races that you have good control of. If it's a bit slower, it doesn't matter, because the AI will just drive a bit slow as well, but you're not going to lose weirdly because it's going to lose all the speed in the turn. No, it's going to have grip in the turn, you're going to continue on, and you're going to have a good time. So that's kind of the strategy that I'm going with here.
So you found it all right. What do you think? You can store your ride here. Consider it your safe house. You can use it to lie low when your heat gets too hot. If you want to take out Razor and get your ride back, you got a lot of work to do.
Yes, and remember guys, we have to beat all races and all potential milestones and all potential things to get to the next boss, not just the usual old easy peasy stuff.
I'll let you get back to business. I'll call you when the time's right. Later.
Sony Juan. Also. So that's Sony with this nice Golf. And okay, now you can already see we have to, normally I think you have to get 3 milestones. Now the thing is already quite easy, but he has 4 milestones, so we have to get all 4 of them. Normally in the game you have to get 3. And now also the bounty is still chill. I think it's even the standard amount at this point. But in the later stages, we're gonna have way more problems, because all these races now are easy, right? But later, let's say someone has 9 races and 2 of them are drag races, and one of them is gonna be, let's say, one of those, what's it called? Speed trap events. Okay, let's first tune the car, since we have to, I think I have to lower the music a bit, otherwise YouTube's gonna cry around later. Make this a little bit less loud. Sorry guys, but I know the soundtrack is amazing, but YouTube is not gonna be too fond of us blasting soundtrack. So like I said, we always have to put at least parts and also visual treatment, so that we actually have invested in the car, so to say, right? And we have some relationship with the car, so to say. I'm not gonna put much, because I actually like this stock spoiler. It's quite cool. Maybe some rims are needed. This looks like a BBS kind of guy. And obviously the Redux mod, which I have great respect for the guys who put all the work into do it, have introduced lots of cool new rims and whatnot, which is amazing. I love it, love to see it. It's what the game really needed, because we all, let's be real here, played this game probably the most out of all the Need for Speed titles. And for me personally, it's definitely in my overall video game list one of the top 3, right? Next to Skyrim and maybe Minecraft back in the day. So one of the absolute heroes of the childhood. Anyways, back to the topic. Why is it more hard now that we have all the, next to the obvious things, all the requirements for the blacklist drivers? Because for once, like I said earlier, we have to win against everyone. This is locked because it's metallic. So maybe I keep the color. I kind of like the color actually. Maybe we do. Okay, the needle can go. For me, it always has to be red and white. I don't like the brownish thing. Maybe some rim paints, but yeah, not really, to be honest. Doesn't look nice at all. Paint isn't bad. Oh, kind of like the paint. Maybe the window tint we change to light black. Maybe we can put some decals. They're blocked, we cannot put them on it. Maybe some easy vinyls, maybe some stripes work. I don't know, they don't, because the car already has a stripe here on the front and the side, which kind of make it look dumb with more stuff on it. But technically we already done it. We put some window tint on. Okay, we're gonna be the Interceptor. Okay, I think for the first car, we didn't spend much, to be fair. 500 bucks is a bit of a stretch, but since the first car, it should be okay. And if we're just making a turn, you're gonna see now it's gonna turn like a boat, and it turns like a boat, and it's horrible handling, and we're not gonna have an easy time here. But yeah, no risk, no fun. And after we beat Taz, and after we have another car, it's gonna be a good time, because we're gonna use this car later for cop chases only. We're just gonna excelling it, because in the cop chases doesn't matter if we're gonna take a turn, right? But as you can see, we have route spin until 80 kilometers per hour, which is completely crazy to think about. So no grip at all. But yeah, but the cop chases is gonna be a great car, because it has good speed for the price, and it's heavy, so it can push cars around. All of the opposite things that we want for the races. For the races, we want a little bit of a slower car, because then the AI will be slower, and very great handling and lightness, because it comes with good grip, so that we can take the turns nice, not like here where we smash into the wall. And yeah, so that's gonna be the idea. Now, all the races obviously gonna be easy, but for Sony, for the boss, I'm not 100% sure how easy it's gonna be. Yeah, obviously speed breaker always a good decision because it doubles your mass. If you wham against something and you can't avoid it, especially with a heavy ass muscle car like this, an iron pig like this that doesn't really handle well. Speed breaker is definitely godsend, especially if you don't have nitrous. And yeah, so going back, the speed trap events are a direct event, and I think for me personally, just as, not, or maybe not even, maybe even worse than a direct race. Because with speed traps, sometimes if you have a fast car, that's why I already said sometimes having a slower car for races is better. Is one of the worst things that can happen to you. Because with the police chases, with the speed traps, the problem is that, oh, nice muscle car lineup here, Chrysler, Dodge Charger, and looks like a Challenger. The problem that you have with the speed traps, and as most of you probably know, is that the AI will always adjust to your speed, and we know this, right? And also, not just the rubber band effect, when you're further away they get faster, when you're falling behind they get slower. Not only just, if you go to an event, you see this, if you ever hacked the game and you drove with a trash garbage truck that you can drive in one of the challenge events. If you drive with that in a normal race, everyone else will drive like a grandpa, like 50 kilometers max, and you can just easily drive the race. Because the car has such a low weighting for speed, everyone else will adjust to that. Not just with the rubber band effect, but in general, we're not going to drive fast. And the same goes for the other direction. If you have a car that has a super crazy rating, right, and it can drive like 420 kilometers, you can bet your ass that the AI will just spawn Bugatti next to you and an Aventador and something else that's super crazy fast, and these guys will just run away. Now, it's no problem that when your car that you have with your 400 kilometers has super crazy handling, and you can transform the speed also into the turns, then you're fine, you're good, you're golden. But if that's not the case, and you have something like a heavy muscle car where it wasn't expensive in the shop, you could buy it for 60 grand and it has super crazy speed, and it drives 300 kilometers easy, but the turns, you're gonna lose all that speed, and you're gonna have a big problem. Because all these guys is gonna overtake you in the turns. If they're not already ahead and you cannot ever get back to them. So that's kind of the trifecta here, with having a car for the top chases. It's heavy, has some nice torque, has some speed, and it's not expensive, preferably, because you probably lose it as well, eventually. And have something light PP for the race events, and that's why it's so much harder, because we have to win all the races, all the events that are there. And I'm repeating myself here, but I'm really stressing the fact, because right now it's super easy to drive, but later on it's going to be very hard. Because there's going to be drag events, and maybe we have 2 cars left, and there's going to be 2 drag events and 2 toll booth races and 2 events where we have, let's say, the Wader race, the Wader photo shoot race, you know what I mean, where you have to basically where the AI cheats and they see, oh, you're driving fast, and they're just gonna make ridiculous times, and they're just ridiculous speeds, and you cannot beat it. Whatever output you drive doesn't matter. So some of those races where just doesn't matter how good you drive, the better you drive, the better they get, and it's just an endless cycle of losing a car. So you also have to make the decision, okay, what car am I going to lose? And the problem is, if you're going to put your cheap car and you haven't done the toll booth races, then you also have a problem. Because if you drive with your fast car and you lose it, and you think, oh, I'm going to use the fast car for this, and then I win it, and you lose it, then you cannot do the toll booth anymore. And if you only have a little bit of money left for a small car, you're not going to get the radar toll booth thing done, and you're not going to get the radar milestone blacklist thing where you have to drive a certain speed. So lots of things to think about and lots of decisions to be made there to use the car. I guess the best thing to do is to do the toll booth races first, to do the radar things first and the police things first, probably with the fastest cars, because it's a low risk of getting of dying in those races, and also all the races and the multiple race thingies, and then use the slow cars for the radars, for the radar races, where you have to get a certain speed in the photo camera, and also the slow cars for the reg races, because the AI will just adjust to your car speed that you've selected for that race. Now, if you lose those slow cars, then you just lost the slow car, and then you can go up in value, so to say. I think that's kind of the best idea so far, to just go by that rule. Okay. And this is the milestone that I was just talking about, where
Rockport PD's trying to shut us down. They're everywhere. Now, if you get into pursuit with them, the longer you go, the more heat you bring down on your ride. The more heat, the more cops. To get out of a tight spot, just crash into
So, now there's police as well. So, that's what I meant here. If we have all the cars left, and we think, oh, we're just gonna win the next race with a cheap car. No, because you're gonna have to also win the speed trap events, and this is gonna make it so that you always have to tune the car to a certain speed, hence the junkman part importance, and eventually having some like parts back there that allows us, if we're in a tough spot, to like kinda get some value out of a cheap car even, right? Okay, now it's just bounty. And bounty and these kind of things are one of the most important challenges that I haven't completely discussed yet, but I will later.
Those on the blacklist use bounty level to gauge rep among drivers. The more the cops want you, the more rep you get, and the faster you move up the blacklist. Taking on pursuit milestones is the quickest way to raise the bounty on your head. Just don't get busted. Get enough bounty, become notorious.
Yeah, but we have to get all the pursuit milestones, not just a couple of them that are easy, but also the nail ones and whatever the hell that's gonna be in there.
Just wait one. Suspects in a blue Camaro. Speeds are way over the limit. I can't get this guy to stop. Send me some cover.
Now, something that's weird is that I've changed the amount of police drivers that are onto us, and I also changed the amount of how do you call it? Of the minimum heat level. The minimum heat level I set it to 2 basically. So for some reason it's at 1, I'm not sure why that is. So I made all the police things way tougher. So the minimum speed level, police level is 2, I don't know why it's on 1. Also, the amount of police that comes. I'm just gonna get the first milestone of evading quick. And then check on the computer what's going on. And the other thing that I changed is the amount of police that comes is greatly increased. The amount of fuel the helicopter has is greatly increased, and so on and so forth. But give me a quick break. I'm just gonna have a quick look why it's not like this right now.